something that'll wake you up. You know, 7 weeks from tomorrow is New Year's. I'm sorry, from Sunday, Monday. 7 weeks from Monday will be the start of a brand new year. Happens pretty fast, right? I remember when we were having the beginning of a launch event in January. For those of you that were with us back then, beginning of the year, Wealthwave had this launch event. Here we are, 7 weeks away from a brand new year. So the year went by pretty fast, right? Well, guess how fast next year is going to go? Just as fast. So the reality is that what we're doing, I was just going to share this with our team earlier anyway, so it kind of worked out instead, is that 2018, the success that we're going to have in 2018 started about 2 weeks ago. If you think what we're doing right now has anything to do with now, then you've missed the message, you've missed the boat. 2018, the success you're going to have in 2018 already started. I think this is a big part of it. I think this is definitely going to create, if you utilize what we're doing here, it's going to absolutely create the platform to have a great launch for 2018. We're going to talk a little bit about that. But since our business runs in 90-day cycles, the first quarter of next year is already being shaped by what I'm going to do these next 6 weeks and what you're going to do these next 6 weeks. So here's how you can ensure that you'll have a good first quarter. Do something the next 6 weeks. How many of you are seriously planning on doing something the next 6 weeks? Right? Okay, so let's put that to the test. Let's take 2 minutes to write down what exactly you're planning on doing for the next 2 weeks. Here's what I want you to do, right? I said when we started the meeting on Wednesday, I said every event you should walk away with at minimum 2 things that improve your business by the time that you were there. And here's how you determine what are those 2 things. Number 1, something that you learned academically, and something that you picked up relationally, socially. Because when you combine those 2 together, you had growth. Because it's not all about academics. Academics is not going to help you build your business unless you put a personal, social, relationship feel to it. You'll see what I mean in a minute. So write down the 2 things that you picked up, the 2 most important things that you picked up over the last 48 hours, 1 academically and 1 socially. And if you got nothing socially, then you were here 50%. Your experience here was cut in half. Here's what I mean. I learned something about one of the products here that I wasn't aware of. Great. In fact, it was pretty early on when they talked about it. I told myself, if I've learned nothing else for the rest of the next 48 hours, I got my academic point. It's going to help me grow my business. Now let me go look for something social. And then I ran into Lakey over here. Lakey, right? Yeah, Lakey. Ran into Lakey yesterday. He showed me something pretty cool. I said, wow. I said, there's my other social benefit that I got from being in this meeting. What were yours? Why is that important? Because you have to incorporate them in what you do over the next 6-7 weeks in order to have that first quarter success. See, otherwise then it's just another meeting. It was just a little retreat. It was just a little getaway. Free food, free lodging, lots of food. Right? Lots of food, pretty cool lodging, hanging out. But if that's all it was, if that's all you got out of this 48 hours, you missed it. So jot down the 2 things that are going to make a difference. And if you have a difficult time jotting that down, it's not a good sign. The second thing is, how are you going to incorporate that into your plan over the next 7 weeks? I'm going to give you some ideas of by the way, as you're jotting that down, some of you have been asking me over the last couple of days, especially a little while ago since we have the net law meeting, about how to incorporate net law and how to recruit net law. Well, what I'm going to do is, I'll give you some ideas now, but since we're actually, we've got some time in this room, right, Ron? Yeah. If whoever is interested, I'm going to stick around and I can get into some training on some more in-depth stuff, recruiting with net law and some other things. It's funny, yesterday when I was talking to, I keep calling it Lakey. Right? So I was talking to Lakey. I said to Lakey, watch, okay? He told me he's from Boston. I said, watch, I'm going to go prospecting on some stuff. And by tomorrow, I'm going to have somebody for you in Austin. And what happened earlier today when we met? Somebody in Austin, right? If you know where to look, you're going to find the people. So I'm going to spend some time talking about that if you're interested, because that's part of growing, right? All the academic stuff in the world is not going to help you grow a team unless you utilize it as part of a recruiting conversation, which is what NetLaw has been for me, and I'll share that with you once we're done. But jot down what are the 2 steps, what are the 3 action steps you're going to create. And this is important. This is probably the most important part of the meeting. Don't overlook this. You know why this is important? Because if you don't write it down, you're not going to do it. When I used to be a personal trainer, I used to tell people, tell me what it looks like over the next 6 months. What's your body going to look like? And the person who would come back with that visual design is the one who would stick through the 6 months of training with me. The ones who wouldn't, in about 2-3 weeks, they quit. There's something about visualizing and jotting it down that increases the probability of it working. So take a minute. What are the 3 action steps? It doesn't have to be detailed action steps. Just 3 things. And by the way, I'm going to challenge you. I'm going to ask you. I'm going to point to you randomly and ask you, what are your 3? Before I get to you, so that way, those of you who haven't written anything down, we'll give you another couple minutes to write it down. Reminds me of a funny story. Sharing this with our guys yesterday. The lady who was called the cops. This happened in the Bronx. The lady called the cops. She saw her neighbor. And she said, my neighbor's acting kind of strange. She's walking around the house looking for stuff. And that's not like my neighbor, so she called the cops. So the cops showed up. Sure enough, the cops saw this woman. She was sweeping around the house. And they thought that kind of suspicious, so they went to the lady and said, lady, what's going on? Why are you snooping around the house? You're alerting the neighbors here. Is anything wrong? The lady says, well, you don't seem to understand. She looked kind of panicked. She says, I lost the keys to my house. I can't find them. I'm looking for them. The cop says, well, where do you think I may have lost them? She says, oh, I know. I left them inside the house. So the cop says, well, you go look for the keys inside the house. She says, I can't go in there. It's too dark. I'll never find them. We always look in the wrong place.
Yep.
We know where we're supposed to look, but we end up looking in the wrong places. And that is the challenge that most people have, I believe, in getting this thing done right. We just look in the wrong places. All right, so who wants to be first before I... Cedric, go for it.
So, 3 actions, well, 2 things I learned. Nationwide product value strategies with accumulator.
Okay.
Social is meeting my team.
Awesome.
And I actually got a very good idea from David to drum up business using the census.
Awesome.
So what I'm going to do, my action steps is I'm going to keep in contact with everybody. I'm going to follow up on my campaign manager meet, and I'm going to stay focused.
Excellent.
Increase the team size to 15 of 3 units, and then security business.
Okay, cool.
Things I learned, just got more comfortable with the nationwide illustration software. Met you, made a connection, secured in-person training and conference call for my team. And I learned that piece about recruiting with network. That was a piece that I actually. So for me, action steps, fast start, 6 people up for fast start, at 5 reps, by the 30, and 3 closes that are products that $1 million baby, IUL on the LTC, which I learned a little piece about the LTC here. It's going to help me close that. So there's a piece I didn't know, and close another IUL for show live.
Awesome. That's a solid plan. Right, sure, right there.
Alright, so the thing, or my 3 action steps. I'm still in college right now, so we're going to set up booths at the college to help get this message out.
Nice.
Try and do some recruiting before people get stuck in life. Also, knock out the helpline so I can start doing the long-term care riders and things like that. And then I'm also in a fraternity, so prospecting the fraternity as well, because I know so so many people that are driven and ambitious like I am.
Yeah, our clients got that.
Actually, that's right now.
What I learned, new bonus. The compliance risk. How to use it.
Yeah, that was good. But I'm gonna get 5 wide immediately, add 3 new licenses to my team, and promote an SMD as soon as I get back. So we're focused.
Anybody else want to offer up theirs before we move on? Good. Michelle.
Okay. I'm going to submit 5 cases that I'm working on currently. 2 recruits this coming week, and 1 IUL with the LTC rider.
Is there any doubt in anybody's mind that these folks who laid out their 3 action steps are not going to make them? Any doctors not going to make them? I mean, those are there's a solid plan, especially you, brother, right? You got the right in place. The minute that you jot them down, I'm not going to go for everybody, but the minute you jot them down, the probability of you hitting them jumps so far higher than they would have if you didn't write it down that you'll surprise yourself when they come to pass. Okay? So I hope you guys also have the same thing. 3 action steps that you can walk away with over the next 6 weeks. All right. Let me talk a little bit about creating momentum, then we'll finish up here. I think over the next 7 weeks, the key is create momentum. And one of the action steps that I didn't hear anybody say was register for the convention. Right? That would have been number 1 on the list. Register for the convention. I wouldn't miss that. Here's why you don't want to miss it. Let's just get fundamental here. If you don't commit to going, then there's no shot you'll have somebody on your team go either. Does that make sense? You've got to be the first one to say, I'm going to be there. Because once you tell your subconscious that this is where you're going to be, now the question of you making it or not is not a concern any longer. Now it becomes, how many people can I bring with me between now and then? That's how you win this game. You first got to commit to get all in by registering. And then from that point on is how many people can I bring with me between now and then? Something simple as that. But if you never register, you'll make no effort to build that kind of momentum, to talk to people about going as well, because you're not sold out on going. Or you're still waffling on whether or not you'll get the time off or this, that, and the other. Let me tell you something. Here's what I can tell you. If it was absolutely a matter of life and death that you had to be at that event, would you be at that event?
Yep.
Absolutely. There'd be no excuses. You figure out a way to get there. It's got to be that important for you to be there. So consider that. That's got to be the next action step. I'm going to the convention. I'm registering as soon as I get back, or as soon as this meeting's done, I'm going. If no one else goes with me, at least I'm there. That's how you get the momentum going. That's how you create momentum. It's a bold move to do, but you give yourself no option when you register, you pay to back out. Okay? That would have been my first action step. But let me give you the elements here to create momentum. I think the challenge to create momentum is we get in our own way. I think we get in our own way. So let me give you the first thing to consider. Get out of your own head. How many of you know, and I was talking to someone yesterday, how many of you know that you have success blockage?
Head
There's
trash.
just something that is not allowing you to just have a breakthrough, right? That's a blockage. Everybody experiences a blockage for one reason or another. Well, you've got to figure what that is, and if you've got to talk to your leader, to your mentor, somebody, because until you resolve that, the chances of you really exploding in the business just won't be as good as they can be, and you'll continuously frustrate yourself every day. And by the way, frustration leads to discouragement. Discouragement leads to depression. Depression leads to the exit door. People quit the business when they get so discouraged that they get depressed that they can't stand it anymore. And a lot of that can be resolved right back to some struggles, some beliefs, some blockage they had early on that could have been resolved if they got in front of the right people, they got the right leadership. If you already know that you've got a blockage, then unless you open up and talk to somebody to get some help, especially when it means so much here to get past that blockage, you've got to be that's got to be one of the things that should be on your action step, on your action list. You got to figure out a way to get out of your own head. Because up until this point, if you've not had the success you want, and you know that stuff is still in your head, unless you tackle it, it's never going to go away. It's just never going. And that's not applicable just to this business. It applies to anything in life. If you don't get the help that you need to have that blockage breakthrough, you're going to continue to struggle. And when there's so much on the table here, it's worth resolving right away, isn't it? It's just get it over with. resolve it. Last night I was talking to, and I don't know if I could say that conversation you had, right? We're talking about recruiting last night. She's like, I can't figure out why I'm passionate about selling. People can see that conviction when I'm talking about financial opportunity, but I just can't get through to talk to them about recruiting. Why, right? We talked about that last night. Well, I'm glad that we had a chance to talk because now hopefully through that conversation we'll help get some things out of the way. But if you're experiencing the same thing, you got to figure out what it is real quick. Otherwise, you're going to spin your wheels. I know what it is to spin your wheels. You've got to figure that one out. Otherwise, you'll never get this thing going the way it should be going. Okay? The last thing is, you've got to have a recruiting game plan. You've got to have a recruiting game plan. So let me ask you to write one more thing down. I'll give you a couple of tips on the net law, and then I'll hang out here. We're going to do some other stuff if you'd like. Okay? This is and always will be a recruiting opportunity. I've never lost sight of that. I never lost sight of what I joined in 1992 when I joined Primerica. I walked out of that meeting recognizing I was in a business that had nothing to do with selling financial products. I walked out of a meeting recognizing I was in a distribution business whose distribution product was insurance at that time. I've never lost sight of that. I'm in a distribution business that just so happens to have financial products as its product of distribution. So if you're going to have a distribution business, you need what? Distributors. That's it. I said earlier, you by yourself can only sell, so trust me, I know. You by yourself can only sell so many net law products. But if you've got 4 or 5 people that can distribute that product as well, now you've got distribution. Now you're not in the net law business, you're in the distribution business. Net law is just another product. That's why if tomorrow they introduced another product, right, all these wonderful things they're introducing, you by yourself, it's not that exciting. But if they introduce a product, whatever company introduces a product and you've got a distribution system, it doesn't really matter what the product is. The product is going to move because you've got a system. Does Brian have a distribution system? Absolutely. Doesn't matter to Brian what product gets announced on Monday morning. It's great. Brian's a producer. I'm sure he'll incorporate it into his financial conversations. But it doesn't matter to him. If he never sold the product again, he's got distribution. Somehow that product will get sold. You and I are in the distribution business. So if we are, you have to have clever strategies to find distributors, colleagues, teammates, people. That's it. So when you get up in the morning, if you're more concerned about running operations, you're crazy. Mm-hmm. If you're concerned about this, that, and the other, all the academic stuff of our business, the tangible aspect of our business, which is, it's not that it's not important. That's just not part of our. That's not what's the pinnacle part of our business here. When I get up in the morning, I'm thinking about how can I get even more clever at finding ways to find people and then effectively communicate with them. That's our business. That's purely our business. Most of you would not be here, for those of you that are on Brian's team. If Brian never joined our business, chance of you being here, slim to none. And none just left. Right? So be thankful that somebody approached Brian with an opportunity to build a distribution business, because many of you wouldn't be here and your lives wouldn't be changed the way it is today. Okay? So, write down on a piece of paper, there's 7 weeks, right? 7 weeks to January 1st. See, whatever you create with intent comes to pass if you have a plan. You say, I want to lose 10 pounds. Great. That's your statement of intent, right? I'm losing 10 pounds. That's my statement of intent. Great. Where's the plan? If there's no plan, that intent could be as great as that statement could be as great as it can be. But if there's no plan that'll help you follow through on that statement, then it was just another statement. So you have to have a statement of intent and then a plan. I'm going to ask you to write your statement of intent, and I'll help you with the plan. Is that fair? By the way, the last aspect of that formula is desire. You can have a statement of intent, you can have a plan, but if you don't have desire, it still won't work. And guess what? Desire, nobody will give you. You've got to bring that to the table. That's got to be that stuff that's stirring in your belly. When you walk out of this meeting, if you don't have desire to make some changes, some things happen, then you've got to have a talk with yourself. You got to have that checkup from the neck up. See, how come I don't have the desire to get this thing done? What's going on with me? So write down a piece of paper. Between now and in 7 weeks, let's say, how many brand new direction you're going to pick up? How many brand new bodies that aren't here today are going to be part of this business? How many brand new code numbers that don't exist today will exist 7 weeks from now in your organization as a result of your effort? You know, I talk to people all the time on LinkedIn and Facebook and stuff like that. And I ask them, here's what delusional thinking is, by the way. Delusional thinking is that you're doing better than you really are. And then you try to masquerade it by offering somebody else's success in place of yours. So I asked this person, I asked him when I'm on LinkedIn, I said, how's your recruiting coming along? Oh, I'm hierarchy, we got our CEO running. Nothing about their personal numbers, right? So you're hiding behind somebody else's success. No, you've got to make sure that you're the front runner for your personal success. So whatever that number is over the next 7 weeks, those are people that you're going to bring to the table. And I'm going to ask you, now by the way, these numbers have got to be realistic. Don't start talking about bringing in 10 brand new people and you haven't brought in 10 all year. Right? If you're out running at a pace at 1 a month, it's not a good pace to run, but okay. Maybe you'll go a little higher. So stay within reason, stay within something that's rational, that's not going to be so overwhelming and unrealistic that you won't get after, okay? So, how many have you written that number down? Rick, what's your number?
3.
Reasonable. 3. Okay? Don?
I actually wrote it down as 5 licensed associates.
Okay. Don't complicate it, Don.
I already had it written.
Okay. All right. 5, right? 5.
Licensed.
Yeah. 5. Okay, so 5 licenses, but between now and 7 weeks, a tall order. I'm not picking on you, Don. You're giving me some help. Yeah.
But I'm counting people that I shouldn't have done. I should have done it the way you did it, but I'm counting people that I've brought in that aren't licensed yet. And I'm bringing people.
Don't do that.
Yeah,
Your
just in
mind's
case they're...
gonna play tricks on you.
What does that?
Yeah, your mind's going to play tricks on you. Your mind will say, well, I already got 5 minutes. Don't do that. Don't do that to yourself. 7 brand new bodies. 7 brand new bodies. Brand new bodies. No code number, right? Yeah, Joanne. 5. Beautiful. That's about 1 a week, by the way. How many of you think you can recruit 1 person a week if you focused on it? Answer. That's a 2-part answer. Hell yeah. Right? Which what I'm going to show you. What do you got? 10.
Couple
Okay.
connections in playing up.
4, 6, 10. We'll just say 3. What time did you say? 5, 4. Okay, reasonable. Anybody got more than 5 or 6? What do you got? 10? Okay.
I have 10.
1 a week is reasonable. Would you agree to that?
Yep.
So anywhere between 4 and 6 is reasonable. Is a reasonable number. Now, if you get 10, that's great. If you get 1 or 2, okay. So here's how you can find 1 a week. Anybody interested in finding 1 a week? Mm-hmm. Okay. Let me show you. That's my pad over. Let's start with net law. I'll give you the net law tip, then we'll roll. Okay. I got mine up. I did this training in Vegas in August. One of the things I did was in a prospecting book I wrote, I talked about using net law and Bolt as a great way to recruit because they don't require licenses. Look, let me tell you something. You want people in the fold, right? So whether you pick them up through net law, Bolt, a life license guy from Mass Mutual, it doesn't matter. You want them in the fold. As they get in the fold, they'll figure out how far they want to get the business and how committed they'll be, and they'll figure that out. But you got to get them in there first. Jeff Levitan once said years ago, he says you got to get them to church first, then baptize them.
Yep.
Right? It's true. Got to get them in here first, and let them figure out what level of involvement they're going to take. When Charlesie did one of her first few slides, she put up a diagram sort of a flow chart. And I wanted her to go back to that, but we didn't have enough time. She did that about a year ago, and I sat back and I said, all those different flow charts are great for clients. She was talking about clients. I said, but what if we can figure out a way to meet people that are already in that industry, who are already dealing with those clients, and go talk to them about having access to NetLaw? Because literally within 1 hour, somebody could join the business, download the app, and they can go ballistic, offering that service to their clients or their friends or whoever. So write this down. These are the people that have had very good success having a conversation because they are like-minded professionals. See, the key is common ground. If you want to become a very good, effective recruiter, go from a novice to a ninja. Right? If you want to get that ninja status, you've got to get very creative in this thing. 1 or 2 prospecting plays, which is what the average associate have, 1 or 2 or 3 prospecting plays, it's just not going to cut it. You have to have multiple prospecting plays. And get creative as you're thinking about this. These are the people that will have a common ground, you can have a common ground conversation because they're like-minded as it pertains to NetLaw. Number 1, realtors.
Mm-hmm.
Now, why would a realtor be a no-brainer?
Buying a house.
What?
Buying a house.
Yep.
Change.
Somebody buys a house, what's the first conversation they should be having?
Mortgage insurance.
No,
Insurance.
We're on NetLaw here.
Oh, that's right.
You need a will.
Wills and estate plan.
A will. Yep.
Okay, that's a no-brainer. Somebody gets a house, yeah, homeowners insurance, all that's true, and that's where Bolt comes in, by the way. But NetLaw, a will, no-brainer. You talk to 5 real estate guys, you can pick up 2 of them. They'll have the vision to understand. That's pretty good. Plus, here's the deal with here's how you get them. Here's how you get them. In that book, I talk about seasonal recruiting. Guys, recruiting is a science. Called seasonal recruiting. There are some industries that, some professionals, that it's just not the right time to recruit them. It's not the right time to talk to them. I'll give an example. In the next 6 weeks, the last person you want to talk to about this opportunity will be an accountant or CPA. Isn't that right?
True.
Forget about it. If you're trying to talk to these guys from January to April, they ain't gonna
Forget
pay
it.
attention to you. The window was September to about now. Because right now in December, they're sharpening their pencils. They're not thinking about joining anything. Seasonal recruiting. Anybody in real estate here? Used to do real estate? Right? What about the spring market, right? Remember that? You don't talk to realtors during the spring market
This is the best
because
time.
that's their hottest season. That's January through February through March, through May or June, spring market. You're not going to talk to them. But they also have their lulls, which is right now.
Right now, right.
Especially live out in the east. I don't know about here, but out east because you have snow. And no one's buying or selling when it snows during the winter season. So when I speak to those guys, my conversation is, how are you filling up your pipeline with extra income or future clients and prospects when you're not in spring market? Great question. Isn't that a great question?
Mm-hmm.
Great question. You ask them, how are you filling up, how are you creating that income, filling the gap of activity when you're not in spring market? The minute you ask them that question, because it's a clever question and it's something that they're going to they'll know this person really understands the real estate world because it's not common. It's not a common term, spring market, unless you're in real estate. You've already created a relationship with them. Well, now here's the key. You got to walk them through this. So, hey, how would you like to go back, revisit some of your past clients, and offer them a chance to have a will, send them a video, make them aware of it, and if they decide to do it, you can help them get registered. And by the way, it picks you up $140.11 every time you help them get registered for the service. You got to tell them how much money they make. People who join opportunities to make money, you've got to tell them how much money they can make. I hear recruiting conversations all the time, and you got to be very effective with it.
Sorry, Jay.
But
Can you repeat that dollar figure again?
$142.11. That's how much a trading associate makes if he gets a net loss sale. What's the process to make that? I'm sharing this with you guys because this is the way you talk to these guys. People that are in sales, here's what they want to know. What do I got to do? How much money I make? Isn't that true?
Yeah.
So get right to the bottom line. I tell the realtor, look, if you go back to everybody that you talk to, either have your secretary do it or send them a letter or pick up the phone. Here's how long it'll take. About a 3-minute conversation. About 30 seconds to send a text message with the 3-minute video. That's why you gotta use that video. And then when they call you back and say, hey, I want to get it done, it'll take you about a minute to get it registered on your app. So a total of about 10 to 15 minutes for $142.11. And you can get started within the hour. Straight shot to the realtor. Out of the 5 you'll talk to, I'm telling you, that entrepreneurial visionary person, you pick them up like that. Money's not an issue. Real estate realtors usually make money, so you don't have to worry about the $100. Right? That BOGO works. So, hey, miss, and by the way, don't be foolish. Don't try to be greedy. So, I'll write your sale. Screw that. Screw writing a sale for $100. Listen, you can write your own sale. Write your own sale. As soon as you get done, write your own sale, make back your $100 and a little bit more. Now you're in business. Net profit. You want them in the door. You want them in the door. Does that make sense? If you go back right now when you go home, in fact, screw when you go home. While you're waiting for the plane, right? We're all flying back at some point. You go on your computer. You go on your computer. You do a real estate search in your town. You know how easy that is? Realtors in your zip code. Done. And you go back and you start to strategize a game plan. You jot down the first 15 that are within your neighborhood and either place a call or stop by. I'm telling you right now, it's a week before Thanksgiving. They're not doing much. They're not doing much. Most of them are closing out their books for the rest of the year anyway. Okay? That's one idea. Could you pick up 1 realtor a week doing that? You could pick up 2 a week doing that. Okay? So, guys, yes.
I just want to make a point that they probably won't be in the office. They're not doing much, but they won't be in their office. You probably be better to call them.
Yeah. Call them on a
Get
cell
a cup of
phone.
coffee with them.
That's exactly right. Exactly right. Now, if you happen to know some realtors, even better. You get referrals on realtors, even better. Beats the cold call approach. If you know how to work LinkedIn, a gold mine. Unlimited on LinkedIn. Easy cake, man. I promise you. If you take this to heart for the next 3-4 days, text me. In fact, text on my phone number. It's 212-203-1425. I love the testimony. Just text me and say, hey, Jake, I got one. Because you will. All right. So,
I just want to say, I'm on Jay's team, and I've talked to him many times because I've been stuck. And he's always said, hey, you got to get a prospecting playbook. This is not just for yourself. Have the toolbook where you, a tool bag where you can go in. Have all these different prospecting strategies. And this guy's a blessing in my life. You know, I was praying for something, and along comes Jesus, maybe.
Sweet Jesus!
He does have a couple prospecting books, and I just, not to plug Jay, but they're gold mines, as far as that. And he's also plugged into MJ Durkin, and MJ's got a lot of good stuff too. Jay can beat you up, but so can MJ. And just make you think. So, those are some ideas that he's installed in me. It's more of a mentality, and not just for yourself. But you're going to grow a team. You're going to have people and say, present a big what's your prospecting playbook. You're tired of that strategy. What's next? Pull them out.
2 or 3 prospecting strategies, guys. Talking to people in the street, the elevator, the mall. There's nothing wrong with that. Running for your friends and family. After a while, you run out of friends and family. If that's all you got, you're gonna die. You're gonna die. The number one challenge that when I talk to people in the business is prospecting. That's because they're running the same 2-3 plays. I just gave you one that you can never run out of. Realtors in your town don't want to do it? Miami, whatever the zip code for Miami is, start there. You don't need a license for that stuff. Right? Or go to the town next to where you live. Start there. All right, so guys, I appreciate, hopefully this helped.